Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. One of the series that we are doing is the series of conjunctions of planets or house lords with others. We have already done the conjunctions of specific planets with others. For example, we have already done conjunction of Sun with other planets, conjunction of Mars with other planets, and so on. One of the series we are doing is conjunction of house lords with other house lords. For example, the conjunction of the first house lord with the other house lords, the conjunction of the second house lord with the other house lord, and so on. So far we have done the conjunction of the sixth house lord with other house lords. Today we are going to talk about the conjunction of the seventh house lord with other house lords. However, because we have already done this conjunction of the second house lord with the seventh house lord in the second lord's conjunction, and then the conjunction of the third house lord with the seventh house lord in the conjunction of the third house lord video. So again I am not going to repeat the conjunction of the first and seventh, or 7 and 1, 7 and 2, 7 and 3 again. I will be giving you the specific links to those specific areas where we are going to talk about conjunction of the first and seventh house lord, second and seventh house lord, and so on in the comments section below. Please click on that and please see the specific video if you're looking at a specific video or part of the specific video or a specific conjunction of the seventh house lord with the first to sixth house lord so far. So today we are going to talk about the seventh house lord's conjunctions with the eighth house lords and beyond. But before we get there, a request to you that if you are somebody who is a regular to my channel, or if you have come to my channel for the first time, but if you feel that this channel adds value to your life, my videos help you answer some important queries, answer some important doubts, then please do help others also be able to utilize these videos, gain from these videos by virtue of you subscribing to my channel, liking this channel, this particular video as well, and also being able to share this, because if you do that, then YouTube promotes those videos further, promote the channel also, and so through that you will also be able to help others access and lay to rest some of the doubts in their life, and through that earn some good karma. So please earn some good karma, we all need it. Without wasting a minute, please subscribe to my channel, please like these videos, share these videos, and please press the bell notification as well. When the seventh house lord is conjunct with the eighth house lord, what does it mean? It means that seventh house is the house of connections, not only your marital relationship, not only your partnership, but any connection which is a strong connection and which is a recurring connection in your life. If there is somebody who is a security guard in a building you go to that job every day, and if you see the person every day you connect with the person, at least see eye to eye or pass by him, there is a connection with him, because zodiac has given that person in your life as a connection which could be from earlier on as well. So seventh house is the house of connections, eighth house is the house of obstacles, challenges, issues, problems, but also the house of mysteriousness, mystical areas, hidden things, underground things also, but also the house of in-laws, also the house of helping others, standing by others also. So when the seventh house lord and the eighth house lord get conjunct, the zodiac is telling us that many of the connections that you have in your life will also be the ones who will help you through the biggest obstacles in life, biggest challenges in life, biggest issues in life. And if you build those strong connections, strong relationship, then they will come to your aid when you go through those challenges, because in your biggest of challenges you will always find somebody standing by you, and that person will be the one who you have the strongest connection with. You will never find yourself alone, or you will not be able to handle those challenges alone. You will need somebody. So the zodiac knows this is a challenge in your horoscope, in your life, so the zodiac has rewarded you, giving you the probability, the possibility that if you build strong connections, then you will also be able to overcome challenges and issues that the eighth house will throw at you every now and then, and mysterious things, issues which you may not even be able to understand, and because of which you need somebody who can stand by you and help you tide over the challenge. It also means that in a relationship, in a connection, you can also make gains from the 8th house. For example, you can gain from your spouse, because the 8th house is also the house of shared property, shared assets. So whether it's property or gaining or being in an insurance together or being in a business with a partner, you need not necessarily be with the spouse, but with any strong connection, any strong partner, you do business in the areas of the 8th house, or in a team environment, in a company or in an organization which deals with the 8th house areas, in an insurance company, tax, audits, analysis, wealth management, banking, every industry which connects to other people's money, other people's assets, you may be working in that environment, in a team environment, and gain from that. This also means that there could be a strong connect. Some of the connections which come to you, which may be mysterious connections, or you don't know about those connections, but those connections can suddenly come into your life, go also from your life, but there could be a reason why they came and they went. And that's why don't mistreat anybody in your life. You never know why the person came in, what was the small karmic debt that you had to pay off. So if you have the 7th house lord and the 8th house lord conjunct with each other, don't take any relationship lightly, don't take any connection lightly, don't mistreat anybody, because if you mistreat the person where there may be a mysterious earlier connection, then the challenges of the 8th house may also come upon you. If both the house lords are friendly to each other, it could be better gains coming in, but if they are more inimical to each other, this could also mean more challenges coming in through the connections, or if not treating the connection well. So treat everyone well, including your spouse, to partners also, or in a team environment, and even those people who may come in your life for a small period, but there may be some bigger, larger connection from earlier on with that particular person. Now, wherever the conjunction occurs, that flavor will also come into your life. That flavor will also come into what is the synergy of the energies. So if the 7th house lord and the 8th house lord get connected to your 10th house, then it could mean a career connected to insurance, taxation, government projects, working in the areas of the 8th house, metallurgy, mass production, into manufacturing, and so on. So understand the connection, where it is occurring in which house, and be able to decipher that meaning to your advantage rather than to your disadvantage, creating the negative issues of the 8th house rather than the positive ones. Now, when the 7th house lord and the 9th house lord get conjunct together, what does this mean? This means that firstly, the 9th house is the 3rd house from the 7th house, which means without effort you may not be able to make gains from the 9th house, because the 9th house is the biggest house of gains, which means that the 7th house may bring in, or the connections of the 7th house or connections in your life can bring you gains if you put in effort into your relationships, because the 7th house is the 11th house from the 9th house. So if you put in effort into your relationships, if you put in effort to build strong connections, value adding connections, then the zodiac will give you gains over a period of time. This could also mean meeting your spouse, meeting your connections, meeting your committed relationship in a long distance travel, or in an educative environment, in a learning environment, even on a spiritual trip, for example, or through your gurus, or through even your paternal side as well, or even that your spouse could come from your culture which is very different from your culture, or very different city from the city of your birth as well. However, good results can come if you treat the connection well, if you build a strong connection. This also means that there could be a lot of learning which comes into your life through the connections, or some of the connections could even teach you a lesson, which means you sometimes feel, what is the problem with this particular relation I have, connection that I have, always in a challenge, always giving me trouble. There could be a larger reason that the zodiac has connected that person to you, because you need to learn some larger life lessons, because the 9th house lord is getting connected to the 7th house lord. So don't shun the relationship, don't shun the person away. Try and understand, what is life trying to teach me, what is the zodiac wanting me to learn. The zodiac wants you to learn that it's important to build strong connections, because through the connections you will make gains. But if you are not ready to put in the effort, then greater challenges can come upon you. And in that connection, it may teach you patience, it can teach you perseverance, it could teach you how to work together in a team environment. So don't shun people, especially when 7th house lord and 9th house lords come together, even sometimes in a challenging inimical environment, because the greater life experiences will build a stronger connection and give you better gains in the long run. Now, wherever this conjunction is coming together, the 7th house lord and the 9th house lord conjunctions, they will give you a different flavor to the connection, to the synergy. If the 7th house lord and the 9th house lord are getting connected, for example, or conjunct in the 5th house, this shows there can be big gains through your education, through your higher learning, through higher qualification, even doing PhD, for example, through even research also. So try and gain higher qualification, learn more in your life, because through that higher gains can also come in. So the more effort that you put in to learn from life's experiences, getting higher qualifications, spending time, investing time in relations, in connection, the zodiac will also bring you gains in the long run. Now, when the 7th house lord and the 10th house lord are conjunct, what does this mean? Firstly, the 7th house and the 10th house are 4 places from each other, or kendra to each other. So gains can come in the connection between the 7th house lord and the 10th house lord, as long as you understand what the synergy is meaning, what the connection is meaning. And this could be strongly getting connected to your karma itself, not just to your career or your work area, but to your karma, which means your karma is to build strong relations. Your karma is to treat people well who you get connected on a day-to-day basis. If you don't do your karma, then the karmic debt will carry on, and the zodiac will then bring in life's greater lessons, especially because the 10th house has Saturnian energies, Capricorn energies. Then Saturn comes into your life. Saturn then teaches you a lesson, what it means to do better justice in your karmic relations. So some of the relations could also be very karmic. There could be a karmic connection to them. So don't mistreat any relationship. Treat every relationship with dignity, give it importance. This also means that if you have stronger connections in your work area, then better gains can come, assets also can come, which means if you do well in your career, if you do well in your relationships, in your connections at work, in a team environment, then your bosses will also be happy, your superiors will also be happy. So work on your connections with authority figures, then you will also be able to build better assets. You will also be able to bring the peace and harmony at home as well. You will also be able to treat your life partner well and give the person and your domestic life those assets which are required for a harmonious life. If these two planets are in inimical relation to each other, then there could be more challenges coming in from some relations, some connections coming at work also. Yet treat those relationships as karmic relationships, karmic connections, and still do justice to the role. Don't worry too much about the inimical side, because as true professionals we should be able to deal with different kinds of people also. If you do that, you will be shedding your karmic debt, you will be doing your karma, you will be establishing karmic relations, and you will be able to build both spiritual assets as well as tangible worldly assets in the long run. Now, wherever they are coming together, the 7th house lord and the 10th house lord, that flavor will also come in. For example, if the 7th house lord and the 10th house lord get connected to the 3rd house, then you will be able to do very well in your work area, in your career, based on your efforts. The better you communicate with people, and through that build relationships, through that you build synergies, you will be able to do much better in career. So work on your communication skills when related to your career. If they get connected or conjunct in the 2nd house, that means through your relationships, through your connections at work, you will be able to build and increase your livelihood. You will be able to improve your livelihood and the assets that you have, your savings that you have, if you build strong connections connected to work. So work in your relationships, especially connected to work, when the 7th house lord and the 10th house lords are conjunct. Now, when the 7th house lord is conjunct with the 11th house lord, what does this mean? Firstly, the 11th house is 5 places away from the 7th house, and generally and in most cases you will find that these two connections are of planets which are friendly to each other. Almost in every case, 1st house lord and the 5th to 8th will always be friendly to each other. So when these two planets get conjunct, the 7th house lord and the 11th house lord, this is a promise given to you by the zodiac, high possibility given to you by the zodiac to get good gains, but through social connections, because the 11th house is the house of your social connections. The 7th house is the house of day-to-day connections, who you meet on a day-to-day, whereas the 11th house is of larger masses. So it means that some of your 7th house connections, closer connections, can also come from your social life. You could even meet your spouse socially in a friendly environment or as a friend, and later on the relation could blossom. This also means that you could also gain in the long run by connecting through somebody socially and building on that connection and making it strong, and through that synergy, through that partnership, also being able to gain big, because the 11th house is also the house of your wishes and desires. A lot of your wishes and desires can also come true if you establish good relationship. Now, just because you end up in a relationship with somebody doesn't mean that you will get all your wishes and desires fulfilled if the 7th house lord and the 11th house lord are conjunct. It means your wishes and desires can come true if you build strong relationship of the 7th house. It's not a given, it is something offered to you. So build strong connections, whether it's in a relationship or whether in your social connection, and you will find that you will be able to gain in the long run. You will also be able to get some of your wishes and desires, if not all of your wishes and desires, fulfilled through this connection. This also means that have some cause through which you and your connection are coming together, whether it's your spouse or in a partnership. Have some larger cause, have some larger objective because of which you are coming together, and then both of you will be happy. Gains will also come in, and also try and do something back to society, give something back to the society, because this connection has come together to do something big, to do something large, to do something more for the masses. Or at least in your social environment, you and your spouse should come across as somebody who is a role model of a very strong relationship coming together. If nothing else, but an example should be set in your social connection, what it means to be a good couple, to be a strong couple, to be in synergy with each other. So if the 7th house lord and 11th house lord coming together, pay a lot of attention to the connection that you establish, who you're meeting, even socially, especially if it's a recurring connection which is happening every now and then. Pay more attention to it, because there is a larger social reason, larger zodiacal reason, larger karmic reason why the person is getting connected to you again and again, where some larger cause has to be contributed to with both of you coming together. Now, wherever the conjunction occurs of the 7th house lord and the 11th house lord, that will bring in its own flavor. If the 7th house lord and the 11th house lord get conjuncted in the 2nd house, this is one of the strongest placements for business and to do something of your own in a partnership and gain from it. If the 7th house lord and the 11th house lords are coming together, for example, in the 4th house, this is a very strong placement, that knowing somebody socially and then establishing a domestic home with the person, and then also building assets over a period of time. So understand where your 7th house lord and the 11th house lords are conjunct. Understand and decipher it for larger gains. This is one of the best conjunctions which the zodiac gives. If the 7th house lord and the 12th house lord are conjunct, this is a slightly tricky placement, because the 12th house lord and the 7th house lord have a 6-8 relationship, which means sometimes some of your connections can come out to become inimical or treat you as an enemy, or the relationship over a period of time become inimical to each other, because we are not ready to contribute, we are not able to give. Because it is the 12th house lord which is involved, there is a spiritual connection which is being given to you, but this is the relationship which has been given to you to do more, because here the 12th house is the house of giving, doing more, expecting less, and it's a very spiritual connection which has been given to you. 7th house is the house of connections, 12th house is the house of giving up, giving off, and then stepping into the next realm. So the connections which are given to you in the 7th house are truly spiritual, but here you will have to give more, because through that the biggest gain that the zodiac gives you, which is of spiritual elevation, will be given to you, that opportunity will be given to you. So some of the relations, some of the connections can come across as something where you are spending a lot of time, spending a lot of effort, yet they are not coming out to be more fruitful. It could be in a relationship where you feel that I do so much, I give so much in the relationship, I am not getting the fruits of the relationship. I contribute so much time, I contribute so much effort, I contribute money, but nothing comes out of it, and all of it seems to be a waste, which the 12th house represents waste and excess. Sometimes you also feel excessively frustrated, anxious, even separation from your spouse. If not the physical separation, it could be a mental separation, because you both are not seeming to connect with each other. However, this is also placement where if you are ready to give more, if you are ready to move on, also give off of the relationship, if it's truly not serving beyond a certain limit, then that relationship was not meant for you. So firstly, treat every relationship as important, treat every relation as spiritual one, try to do more, expect less, but after beyond a certain period of time, when you just don't feel it is serving you enough, it is ready to let go of it, if there is something which you are not able to take beyond a certain point. But if you are able to establish strong relations, strong connections, and ready to give in more without batting an eyelid, without expecting more in return, and trying to contribute to the larger relationship cause and giving back as a couple, as a partner, as a connection to the larger social cause, where you don't worry too much about what you are getting. You're donating to other causes, to charities, giving off, sharing your money also with others where you are not gaining, then this could also lead to the spiritual elevation, both the couple, the connection as well. If you are in a partnership in the business, and if you put some money away, maybe even 0.05% or 1%, whatever you can afford, to some social cause, to a cause which is much dearer to you, which both of you can relate, then it could also help in not only gains of the business, overcoming the competition which the 6th house connection between the 7th and 12th represent, able to overcome the challenges of the competition and being able to do well, but also spiritual elevation of both the partners. Now, where the 7th house and the 12th house lord get conjunct, that will bring in its own flavor. If they get conjunct in the 2nd house, it could mean getting gains from foreign lands, getting gains from a foreign connection in MNC companies, from foreign companies also. If the 7th house lord and the 12th house lord get conjunct, for example, in the 4th house, this could also mean home in foreign lands, establishing a home with somebody who is not from your culture, who's away from your city of birth, who comes from a different background also. So pay more attention to where the 7th house lord and the 12th house lord get conjunct, and try to gain more out of that connection, but first believing in doing more, giving off more, and severing the relation only when it goes beyond the arena of being able to take it. So friends, now that we have discussed the conjunction of the 7th house lord with other house lords, just see if there is any conjunction in your horoscope between the 7th house lord and any others. Try and decipher it, try to see where it is being established, see if there are any inimical connections that are coming in, spoiling that connection. Be ready to always work on the synergy in the connection, in the partnership, in the relationship, and you will find that the zodiac will always give you more, if not from one avenue, then from some other avenue. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off.